Hello, hi everyone. Well, not a familiar face. I know I'm not very big on, video making or YouTubing and social media and all that. The reason I'm making this video is because I happened to share a few videos today that were a little bit controversy or controversial. Uh, the reason I'm making this video really is that I just wanted to clarify that not everything that I share is something that I totally agree with. In a lot of cases, it's something that I disagree with. Sometimes it's something that I partially agree with. Um, the reason I share them is to actually expose another opinion that is a little different from the mainstream affected, uh, uh, videos or social media that we come across all the time. So I was thinking it might be a good food for the brain to actually think about the opposite, even though it sometimes is an extreme opposite. But it gets you to think, it gets you to realize, okay, so there's got to be somewhere in between where things can be manageable and things can be actually a lot more moderate and fair in a lot of cases. Um, Basically, some of these videos are really interesting, though a bit extremist ideologies regarding gender roles and gender differences. Um, my personal humble opinion, which I'm entitled to, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and that has nothing to do with respect as humans. Like, we all have our disagreements, we all have our own thoughts that are supposed to be different from everyone else's. Um, it should not make a difference what I think or what ideology I believe in, um, as long as there is mutual respect, right? So basically, um, I believe that a man has certain traits, certain characteristics that support a certain lifestyle, which for a woman that might not be fully satisfying. It could be physically impossible even. Um, and I'm not saying absolutely impossible, because there's always an exception. There are always exceptions. But in all cases, mixing the role, do you really think that that's the right way to go? Like, for instance, a man taking over a woman's role in life, or a woman taking over a man's role in life. Is that the right way to go? Um, I personally believe it's not. And the reason is, we were not created to be opponents. We were not created to compete with one another. We were created to actually integrate and complete one another. So it doesn't make any sense that the roles expected from a man should be actually roles expected from anybody, whether it's a man or a woman, and yet the roles expected from a woman are not entirely expected from a man. And so mixing everything all together and calling it equality, it's just not fair. Because if we're equal, true story, like, men do actually jobs and tasks that are really dangerous and really impossible, And yes, you do find women in those jobs, but I mean, name a percentage that are interested in this kind of job. In men, they are not interested, but they have to do it. They got to do what they got to do because a man is expected to actually support their family. And he is required until this very day, and regardless of all the equalities, he is required to support his family, his wife, his kids, and all that. But then we kind of mix things up. Like, I'm not against women doing, tough jobs or anything of that sort. I'm not against. Please, if you feel like it. But the thing is, to actually make that the main role of a woman and to hold her reliable for financial needs of a family or whatnot, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Because if she's doing it because she can, she feels that she can, then please. But if she can't, she is not, she's not reliable for that. It's okay if she can't. But when a man says, I can't, it's not okay because it's his role. That's the whole thing. So if we integrate, let's say, a man, a woman, the man is acting as a man. He's taking over all his responsibilities as a man. He works, he, busts ass, and he provides for his family. The woman is actually backing up that man by giving him the life he deserves, the comfort he deserves, and the respect he deserves, so that he wouldn't, he would have the energy to go on and to carry on. And yet, without that kind of support, that man is not going anywhere. He's not getting anywhere. He's going to give up, and he's going to give up fast. Now, that being said, does that mean a woman shouldn't work? No, I didn't say that. She can work. But it's about the priority. It's the priority for a man to actually go out there and work. And it's the priority for the woman to actually secure the social life and help the man with the internal financial situation in the house. So the woman is actually taking care of the core of the society, the family, the kids, the psychological aspects of everyone in the family's life. So a man is just doing another role. But if they both do one role, if they are required to spend on the house exactly the same, that's not fair for the woman, because there are things that have to be done with the kids that the man is not going to be able to do as a man. His physiological and psychological components do not involve this kind of motherly or feminist instincts, for instance. So we can't really override that. We need to think positively that a family is actually an integration between individuals to make this whole thing work. And if the family is healthy, the whole society is healthy, the social system is healthy. But if we're talking about freedom and liberalism and all that, and feminism, and look, if we mention feminism, then we have discriminated against women or against men, against one of them or both. As a matter of fact, it hurts both at the end of the day. So if I start talking about racism is a bad thing, I'm supporting racism. I'm advocating for racism, right? Because I just opened an argument about, races and why do they exist. And that will lead to the conversation about the superiority of races, and that's absolutely bizarre. That is absolutely nonsense, because by all kinds of beliefs around the universe, we have come provenly from a single man and a single woman. That's a fact, that everybody knows that, regardless of our, differences in religion, but we all believe in that. So basically, the essentiality of integration in the society is important. Highlighting racism or highlighting the differences in color or in shape or in belief or in whatever, highlighting that in itself is advocacy to racism and discrimination. So I don't like to discriminate between men and women. I like to actually individualize my my talk. So individually, every family has its own needs. Sometimes the man and the woman have to work, both of them, to be able to support and live the lifestyle they are dreaming of. It's their dream. They have the right to do it the way they feel like it's the right way, or that's what's going to be effective. Now, if that family decides that, no, we're going to just stick to our gender roles, let the woman take care of her bit and the man take care of his bit, and that way everything will be fine, that also works. And there can't be anything wrong with that, because that's how it has always been. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's proven. Look at the world. We have come that far that way. Now, since we've changed our way, well, we got to be careful, because you got to look at the results. How far have we come? Have wars gotten less? Have gender equity been helped out? Because I don't believe in equality. Equality is not fair. Equality is to give everybody equally, just like the other. And that doesn't make them equal, because some of them need more and some of them need a little less, so that they're equal. So a tall man needs a shorter stool to stand on to be able to see over the wall. But a short man needs a taller stool, to be able to stand on and see over the wall. So equity is when you equalize the rights and equalize the respect and the effectivity and the expectancies and everything else. And that would require an individual approach to every person to find out what exactly does this individual need, because everybody's needs are different, regardless whether they're men, women, trans, whatever. Every individual has their own needs. They have their own psychological structure. They have their own backgrounds, experiences, opportunity, name it. Like everything, we are like fingerprints, walking fingerprints. Each of us is absolutely different. So to generalize and go, women should and men should, or women shouldn't and men shouldn't, that is too much of a generalization. But there are bottom lines. There are bottom lines, guys. We have to integrate. And to be able to integrate, we have to shape ourselves to fit in with the other. That is personal, individual effort that you spare in order to be able to, mix in with the society without causing the wheel of the society to stumble. So in order to shape ourselves, we need to understand that respect is a bottom line. Nobody disagrees on that. Men should respect women. Yes, I agree, but that doesn't mean only men need to respect women. Women also need to respect men just as much. There is no such thing as a man doesn't hit a woman, because that's not fair. A man doesn't hit anyone. Not a woman, not a man, not anyone. There's no point in, like, what is it? That, like, what is wrong with us? Like, are we walking around hitting each other and fighting over who has the right to hit whom? No. That is unacceptable, regardless if it's against women or against men. So actually having laws to highlight that violence against women, that means violence against men is okay, and that's not right. What happens is that, yes, women are starting to be violent against us. Okay, I'm not going to talk about my personal experience and how many knives I got stuck in me, and for stupid reasons, just because somebody is just not in the mood, or it's just that time of the month, Man, no, there have to be some red lines. There have to be a limit in everybody's relationship that they should not exceed, right? Regardless if it's a man or a woman. If we're family, we're not competing on who's doing what. Everyone cares about their family, and each person needs to do what needs to be done. I see something, I do it. If I can't do it, I'll ask the other person to help me out. Okay? Because, yeah, it is a fact that some things we're just not good at as men. We don't have that kind of passion in us for that kind of thing. Okay? So if you ask me to clean a house, I'll grab the broom, run over it, grab the mop, and, a little bit of water, and it's all good. But if you ask a woman to do the same thing, well, I'll tell you what, you're going to be seeing a completely different view. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The thing is, a woman has a little bit of that feel for the details. So basically, a woman would pay attention to the little bit of dust that a man would just pass right by and not notice. A woman would pay attention that there's a corner that looks too empty, and she would think of maybe a small flower pot would look nice in that area, or a nice vase on a table. Now, if I show you around my apartment, there is nothing of that sort. Why? Man, I got my noodles sitting in the kitchen. That's what I cook for myself. I know how to cook. I'm a real good cook, by the way, but I'm not going to do that for myself. I'm not going to spare so much effort for myself. It's not worth it. Like, I'm a giver. I will get up and cook something really tasty and put some effort and some heart into it if I'm feeding my family, because I want to see them happy, and I want to see the happiness in their eyes, and I want to see that they like what I did for them and they appreciate that, and that would make me happy. I don't care. I wouldn't even eat it. I don't care. It's not really the cooking itself that I like, but it's seeing that I was a reason for my family's happiness. I could feed them. That is the thing. Now, who appreciates that? The next thing you hear is, you messed up the whole kitchen, right? But anyway, regardless, to me as a man, there's this feminine touch that makes the house basically a paradise. A man can't do that. I mean, we are inefficient in that matter, mate. Now, there are things that a man does better though. Well, guess what? It's a fact of life. women, generally speaking, like when I say women, I don't mean like 100%. I mean like the vast majority, right? The norm, if you want to call it, which is the majority. Um, so you know, I think we should take things a little more easy. You know, uh, it doesn't matter what I think about your action. You're doing something, right? Like whatever it is, like you are putting a little too much pepper in the soup, right? And you say, well, it doesn't taste good any other way. Well, that's your say, right? But I have the right to actually like the soup without pepper at all, and rather, stick in some mint. Well, who cares, right? The thing is, just because I have a different opinion in the soup recipe doesn't mean that I personally don't respect you. No, it's just that we are different. People are different. Individually speaking, we are different. I okay, so I am well, this is a very kind of, shaky conversation here when you come up with the topic of genders, or when you come up with the topic of gay rights and all that. I don't believe in gay rights, women's rights, African American rights, or whatever they might call that. Rat rights and mice rights, and I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. There is human rights. That's what I believe in. And anyone that is identifiable as a human being has equal rights as everyone else. Not because it's a woman we need to pay more attention to her rights and ignore a man's right. No, that's still not righteous. That's still oppression, but against the opposite side. That doesn't make any sense. Do not highlight a category of people, because you shouldn't categorize people like that. Every person has their own beliefs. Every person has their own weaknesses. Let's put it also that way. Like, don't be shy. Don't be ashamed that you have a weakness in your life. Something that is wrong. You believe it's wrong, but you still do it. I smoke. Yeah, I know it's wrong, but I like to smoke. So I'm just being honest with myself. I don't change the fact that it's bad for you. And I don't start, writing papers about the benefits of tobacco. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Just accept your faults, accept your mistakes. Try to fix them. As long as you believe they are mistakes, you're going to keep trying. And that's all it takes. And if it didn't work out, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. At least you tried. Doesn't matter. So let's not change facts and take whatever we can get from each other, because we are not rivals. There's no such thing as men and women. There's no such. There is that thing as a man and a woman when it comes to, integrating. We need to integrate. We need to complete one another. By nature, a man is long-visioned and pays attention to the foundational structure of their life. A woman is more detailed, so the capacity for so much details wouldn't go far in, seeing ahead. But a man misses a lot of details, yet he can see ahead. That is a psychological structure. And I'm generally speaking, again, there has to be an exception for every rule. Some men don't pay attention to that much, and they pay attention to so much detail. Some women actually can do this and that. Some people have extraordinary powers, you know. But I'm talking about the general norm, right? So when we integrate a man and a woman, a man with his capacity and skill to actually foreview and be able to put up a contingency plan for what's to come and structure the whole foundation and framework of this family, and the woman to put in all the details necessary to actually practically provide life to the entire family, that takes respect among them, understanding that the role is just as important, and a lot of sacrifice, a lot of trust, and a lot of holding on to each other, or rather, what's the word? Okay, words fail me here. The capacity to bear the breakdowns and the falls of one another, to support further, even though. And that goes for both, for a man and for a woman. You want equality? Well, this is equality. You do your role, I do my role, but we respect each other's roles, and we understand that nobody's role is more important than the other. And if you're doing something that's part of your role that you don't like, well, trust me, I am also doing things in my role that I don't enjoy very much. And that's the sacrifice we provide for our family. Best of luck, guys. Love you all. That's my view on things.